Okay. So let's just begin. I would love to thank Jen and Jay Feldman for sponsoring this amazing program. Thank you all for joining us. We're so excited that you're here. I feel like I always I try to cap it like at a smaller number, like 15, 20. And I say like this time I said 15 because I knew like how many I could pick up, how many kicks I could pick up at once. And I just feel like it's so nice and intimate. Like it's on Zoom, but it's still like we could be like here together. So that's really nice. It's nice to see all your beautiful faces and to be together and spend time. It's like second best. Like at least we can see you and spend time together. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Jen and Jay, for sponsoring. And thank you, Brad, so much for taking this time for us and working on it and making cheesecakes before so we could see the before and the after. And when I asked Brad, he said yes right away. It was so nice. Brad has been the competition. We usually have every year, we have a Shul competition for cheesecakes every year. And like at Kiddush, like on Shabbat, everybody gets like a little ticket and like we get like 3 little or 4 cheesecakes and everybody has to taste it. And he always wins. He's been winning the past 3 years. Well, not last year because last year was COVID. We didn't have it. But for 3 years in a row, he's won. And and we just need to get it on his secret. We just need it all. So we asked Brad to teach us his beautiful secrets here. But before Brad begins, I'd like to ask Brad to speak a little bit about Shavuot and connecting the cheesecake to, or cheese to Shavuot, and just to give us a little bit of like a boost of inspiration before we begin.
Okay, thank you. Rafi, can you pin me so I can see what's working, right? Please. Okay. Yeah, I've got my sous chef here. He's going to do all this stuff for me, which is what everybody needs. Although, I'm going to start by saying, making cheesecake is probably one of the easiest things to make. It just scares people. Having said that, I'm a financial planner, as probably everybody on this call knows. I'm a financial planner, and I think financial planning and cheesecake have a lot in common. If you have the right recipe and you know what you're doing, and you put the ingredients in the right order, the right way, everything will work out, and it's great. And if you don't, it's very easy to muck up. Cheesecake, thankfully, also like financial planning, is it's hard to make it really, really bad. Somebody's not muted, sorry. It's hard to make it really bad, but having said that, let's get into this. So, what's with cheesecake for Shavuot? Shavuot is really a time for renewal for Jewish commitment to the Torah. It's when we got the Torah out at Mount Sinai. Even though Shavuot literally means weeks, it's also defined as oaths, which, not surprisingly, is my daughter's middle name, and her birthday is coming up 2 days before Shavuot. In line with the holiday's historical significance, when the Jewish people received the Torah at Mount Sinai. Shavuot is the holiday most non-religious Jews actually know very little about. In my opinion, that's because it doesn't have all the rules and regulations and all the traditions. We don't have a shofar blowing. We don't have any fasting. We don't have a hut in our backyard. We don't have matzah. All of these things we don't have, and so people tend to miss the fact that we just don't, that Shavuot is even there. I hear a lot of people say, or I have over the years, you know, Judaism's great. If it didn't have all the rules, I'd be okay with it. But I think about this and I realize Shavuot is forgotten just because it, in my opinion, just because it doesn't have the rules. And maybe really it's all the restrictions that keep us aligned. Maybe as a people, we need some physical association with the holiday to feel connected. But Shavuot really is purely a spiritual holiday. The only physical thing that we have is the Torah itself. So along comes cheesecake. So what does dairy have to do with Shavuot and giving of the Torah? Eating dairy on Shavuot is a custom dating back at least a few hundred years. So one explanation given is that with the giving of the Torah, the Jews became obligated to observe kosher laws. As the Torah was given on Shabbat, no cattle could be slaughtered or utensils could be kosher. And so on that day, they ate dairy, which is a lot easier. Another explanation that I've heard is that the practice comes directly from Scripture. We eat dairy to symbolize the land flowing with milk and honey, and as Hashem promised the Israelites, or that milk and honey are under your tongue, as we say in Shir Shir. Beyond this, there's my personal take on why we eat cheesecake specifically. As you've seen, cheesecake, as you will see, sorry, cheesecake requires very little physical effort. It's really very quick, but a lot of patience and strict rule adherence, which is kind of the same that we're doing with the Torah. And with that, can we get started, Freddie?
Yes, thank you so much, Brad. And everybody has all their ingredients. The only thing that we did not give out were eggs. That's 3 eggs because we were nervous that it would crack in the kit. So make sure you have that. Everything else you should have, and we gave you the ingredients and the instructions. So without further ado, please begin.
Okay, so everybody, I've already kind of prepared things, so everything's laid out for me. But the very first thing to do is, however you're going to melt your butter, now would be the time to start that. If you want to use a microwave, put it in a glass bowl, put it in the microwave. I use a pan. Hopefully you can see it way over here. But now it's not lighting, right? There we go. So just if you're using a pan, just put the butter in the pan and let it melt while we're doing the other things. Take some time. I'm not going to put the fan on because then you won't be able to hear me. So that's the first thing. Second thing is to take the cookies and put them in your big blender or food processor or whatever you want, and you want to grind them up. Now it's going to be very loud when I do this. I'm going to ask Rafi to mute us, but just basically grind them up until they're a powder. Okay, so Rafi, can you mute?
Until what? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Until it's basically all crumbs or like a powdery kind of broken down to the basics.
Yeah, so he said to make sure it's like very powdery.
I'm going to show you what this looks like. So hopefully you can see that. It's all just the powder. See? I don't know if you can see, it's kind of bright.
Yeah, we could see, we got that. So we should make it powdery. We need some like music going on before, like during this thing.
Normally when I bake cheesecakes, I have a lot of music going on.
Can I change this? Sorry.
No, I'm just waiting for my butter to melt. Now the reason I like to do cookies for this kind of cheesecake, not all cheesecakes, but for this kind of cheesecake, it's already got the right sweetness because they've already, the cookie makers already put the sugar in and everything else. It becomes very easy, and the cookie matches with like a chocolate chip kind of cheesecake. If you were doing a plain cheesecake or a lemon cheesecake or something like that, so fine. So you use the graham crackers and add a little bit of sugar. It's very easy. A lot of you know I usually make a Oreo cheesecake. The only reason that I chose not to do the Oreo cheesecake today is because you actually have to scrape the white off of the Oreo cookies. And I didn't want to sit here for a half an hour in front of you guys doing that. So
Can't you just get Oreo crumbs in a box?
they're not,
or they're not kosher. I've seen them, but I've never bought them. So
right, they're not kosher, unfortunately. I've been eyeing them for years.
That sucks.
It's so cool. It's actually, we should do this, like have cookies crumpled up, like they have cornflake crumbs crumpled up already, you know?
Well, they do have the Oreo cookie crumbs, but unfortunately nobody put a hechsher on it.
So
Yeah.
Brad,
Yeah.
when you do your Oreo cake and you take off all the icing, what do you do with the icing?
So a small amount of the icing goes into the actual cheese, into the batter.
Uh-huh.
But the rest just goes in the garbage.
Oh, that's your trick.
Right. It's like it's just the Oreo cookies. There's a tiny little bit in the batter, but you really can't taste it.
Oreo should probably be one down.
It's my touch. Can you go upstairs and touch it? Sorry, my butter's almost melted.
Mine looks very chocolatey, my powder.
So if you have, it is possible that the chocolate chip cookies have a lot of chocolate chips. These are more of a grainy chocolate chip cookie. Some people got different ones.
It looks like egg.
But it's not, it's butter. Okay, so I just poured the butter right into the, sorry, I'm gonna take this out of the way. I just poured the butter right into the cookie mix. I'm just stirring it up so it all gets a little bit wet.
Yeah, Brad, would you be able to show everybody how the bowl looks closer up?
What?
And
Sorry,
I just
sorry,
wanna
one
welcome
second.
everybody.
If you want to talk, can you go upstairs, please? Thank you. Because
I
I
just
can't.
want to welcome everybody that has just joined us. We started doing everything. Brad is just showing us what we're up to. We started melting the butter and grinding the cookies into a powdery, dusty kind of look, and then mixing the butter into the cookies. That's all we did.
Right, so now it just looks like wet cookie crumbs. It doesn't look exciting. That's because the butter is mixing with it. And the reason we do this, once it sets in the fridge, which I'm going to explain after, once it sets, the butter hardens and it makes the crust a hard crust. That's why we do that. Otherwise, you don't have to, but you might as well.
Very smart.
So I tend to use Pam to spray the pan. You do not have to. It's not required. It's just something I do.
So everybody's spraying their pans now if you want to, or you can just put the crumbs inside, right? Putting
Right,
the
exactly.
mixture with the crumbs and the butter together, you mixed it up and now you're putting it into the pan, right?
Exactly. Thank you.
Brad, are we transferring it to the spring form after, or are we doing it directly into it now?
So if you have a spring form, this is what we gave up for the kits instead of the spring form.
Oh, so, but if I have it, I'm just using that now.
Yeah, just use the spring form. It's fine.
Okay, so Brad, do you mind just showing us what you just did?
Yeah.
Stir up?
So what I'm doing here, hopefully you can, it's kind of my camera is kind of far from me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's okay. What I'm doing here is I'm just laying out the crust across the bottom so it's as smooth as possible and covering every inch of the pan so I can't see the pan underneath. Right, so there's a little bit of a clump right here. We'll move it over to where there's not.
Brad, what size
Yeah.
spring form should I use? The bigger one or the medium one? I'm not sure how much
I would use
volume.
I usually use like a 9-inch.
I think this is maybe a 10.
Okay, I usually use a 9-inch. I've used a 10-inch, it works. So either one is fine. It just means that it just means that your cake, instead of being this big, will be this big.
It'll be a little bit flatter. Okay,
Right,
thanks.
but you get more pieces out of it, so it's fine.
Is it though? Is it?
Well, it depends how you eat the cake, how you eat it, right?
All of it by myself. That's the
Right,
problem.
exactly. Okay, so this, now that it's done, I'll get that in a second, sorry about the noise. Now that this is done, we can put it aside for a few minutes. So I'm just gonna put it over here. And then the next thing to do, I have an empty
Before you
bowl.
move on, like, is it supposed to look kind of muddy? Like,
Sorry, what?
is it supposed to look like muddy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It
okay.
should actually look kind of gross, and that's perfect.
Is everybody ready for the next part? Everybody good?
Not yet. I need one more minute.
Okay, no problem.
Can I do that one?
I'm gonna be opening them actually, guys.
This is awesome.
How come Rafi's open on that one though?
Please, you're on camera. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, we
Because
like
nobody these days has ever dealt with kids in their houses, they're doing something, right?
We all are in the same boat. We all have our children at home.
Right.
All good. Okay, is everybody okay? Everybody ready? Thumbs up if you're ready to move on.
Do we put the pan, do we leave the pan here or do we put it in the fridge?
No, leave it out. It's fine.
Just leave it to the side.
Yeah, mine's right here.
We just spread it out in the pan, right?
Right, exactly. That's just going to be the crust.
Yes.
Okay, Brad, I think we're good to continue now.
Okay. Okay, so next, hopefully you guys all had your cream cheese out throughout the day and it's room temperature. It's not absolutely essential. It just makes the next step a lot easier because what we're going to do is we're going to put all the cream cheese, into the bowl and the sour cream as well. And once everything's in there, we're going to blend it with the hand blender. Okay, so if you guys could do that, please.
So everybody's open, all three of them, right?
Yeah, all three. And where did my scissors go? I put them there. There we go. All three of the cream cheese and the sour cream, please.
Should I put it in that mixer?
Yeah, we're gonna start mixing it in a minute. We're just putting everything together, putting the cream cheese and the sour cream, and then we're gonna mix it, right, Brad?
Right, exactly.
We're
And there's going to be
using the whole
steps to
thing
the
of
mixing,
sour
so
cream?
please don't jump ahead. Because there are two big secrets to the cheesecake. And one of them is how you mix it.
Is this sour cream or just using that whole container?
Yeah, this 8-ounce container, yeah.
Angela, you got a big mazel tov. Angela's daughter just got engaged, everybody.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Thank you very much.
The first one, right?
It's actually my second daughter.
The second daughter that's getting married? No,
No, she's not.
the first one that's getting married though, right?
Yes, the
Yeah,
second.
that's what I meant. So exciting, such a nice thing to have, especially nowadays. We need like, a simcha. We need something exciting going on.
Yes.
So nice.
It was very nice to get a message, Happy Mother's Day to my future mother-in-law. So
Wow, that's so nice.
that's nice. That's a first.
That's so sweet. Wow.
Yeah.
So happy for you. Any dates for the wedding?
Sorry?
Any dates for the wedding yet or no?
No, not yet because of COVID. So they just want
Yeah.
to wait to see what will happen in the near future.
Hopefully after the summer, like most of the people will be already vaccinated.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, good. So exciting. Enjoy the moment.
Okay,
Thank you.
sorry, so once your sour cream and your cream cheese is in there, please blend it. Please blend it with the hand blender and blend it until it's smooth. Oh, thank you. Can you bring the camera closer? I'm just going to quickly use a spatula to take off the sides and then remix it one more time. Okay, so that's now mixed. Rafi, actually, can you from the box, can you give me the little packet? Spatula that's in there? Thank you. Okay, so please let me know if anybody needs more time to mix that up because we're going to go to the next step.
I need a bit more time.
Okay.
This thing?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
What is that? Sugar, I think.
It's
Yeah,
vanilla sugar. It's okay because I'll sit down. It's perfect. Actually, no, it's on an angle.
That.
No, the whole thing's on an angle. It's like tilted this way. Come.
Okay, I fixed it.
Yeah, I also did. Yeah.
Well, you also log in, and then you can see.
I can log in. Maybe.
Smart.
Okay, is everybody up to this? We're mixing the cream cheese and the sour cream until it's creamy, you said? Yeah, until it's like nice and creamy.
Right. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to be mixing it one more time, but it should be all mixed together. That the sour cream and the cream cheese are all just basically one big unit.
Amazing.
I'm trying to look at the screens and see if anybody looks like they need more time. I think one or two people still need. Sorry about that.
It's all good. Everybody ready?
Well, you should probably disconnect from the
I
audio.
need a little bit more time there. We have a whole family making the cheesecake. Look how cute. This is like a family picture.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, and you can use I think Brad's recipe says to use vanilla what is it called?
Sugar?
Vanilla extract. I usually use this.
But I gave you vanilla sugar. You could substitute the two.
Yeah, either one. Honest, from what I've read and what Frady showed me, the two are basically equivalent. So it really, okay, bring it down. Okay, within the packet. I usually use this. Let me know when. I think we can start, right? Okay.
Yes, we can go.
Okay, so I'm terrible. A lot of the measurements here, they are precise measurements, but they do not have to be precise with cheesecake. They can be up or down a little bit, which is fantastic because it means it's really hard to make a mistake. Okay, so okay. So 1 tablespoon. See my precise measurement of 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Okay, take the sugar.
Okay, this is super cool that everything is already like measured out. How cool, guys. This is like a cooking show. Like you can just like pour it right in.
So do I understand you right? We use this vanillin sugar package for
Instead of vanilla, right?
the whole thing?
Yeah.
The whole package.
Yep.
The whole package.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything's measured out.
The whole package of this premium vanillin sugar
Yeah, this thing here.
instead of 2 teaspoons of liquid vanilla.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I knew that. I was just testing you out, okay? No, I didn't know that.
Okay. So now this is the other secret to, the first secret to the good cheesecake. And this is a secret, I have to give credit. I learned this from Amanda, who taught me this. And since then, my cheesecake changed completely. It's basically, here's the package so you guys can see. It's 1 tablespoon of Jello pudding mix. That's it. Vanilla. And that makes the cheesecake really creamy it makes it just changes the texture completely. And I love the texture of the cheesecake at this point. So thank you, Amanda. That's done.
Wait,
That's
put
done.
your-
That's done. And then I'm gonna give you guys a choice because you can do either one. You can either put the chocolate chips in now, or you can do like I actually prefer to do. I actually wait until I like to wait until the cake is in the pan completely, and then I sprinkle the chocolate chips on top because I think it gives it a nicer patterning and it looks nicer. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's just a question of where you put the chocolate chips in. They don't make a difference at all. Okay. So now that that's done, you should have all the ingredients in the bowl. And I'm
What
just
about
going to
the
mix
sugar?
it.
Did we put the sugar in already and I missed
Yeah,
it?
sugar, vanilla, and the Jello pudding mix.
I missed the sugar too.
I'm
Okay,
the
sugar.
cream cheese and sour cream.
Sorry?
I'm the cream cheese.
Well, that's
And
all.
the eggs, do you put the eggs in later? After
Yeah.
you mix?
The eggs you have to put in later. That's going to be the second secret because of how you mix them in.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I think it should be. So like before, I'm just going to scrape the sides with my spatula. Just make sure that everything goes in. Let's see.
That's it.
Everyone okay there?
So this is now what it looks like. It's just a mix. This looks like basically white cream.
It looks beautiful.
Actually, yeah, it does. That looks like I could just
Okay.
actually eat it. Oh my god, I can. Yeah. It's just not cooked yet.
Sure.
It's not.
Yeah.
There's no eggs in it. It's very salty.
Shouldn't be any salt because there's no salt in it.
No, it's like cream cheese.
Okay, everybody ready? Let me know.
Creamy, not salty. No, it tastes like cream cheese. Yeah. Cream cheese is salty.
Okay, my baby also like sometimes like just digs the spoon inside the whole entire cream cheese container and just like eats it plain, you know? Like,
My mom tells me when I was a kid, I used to do that with sour cream. I thought it was ice cream.
oh my God.
And I would like take a spoon and just eat it all. So
That's intense. Does not taste like ice cream at all.
it's probably why I'm so sour.
Oh no.
Okay, everybody ready for the next step?
He's holding an egg.
Okay, so crack your eggs. If you check them, crack them into a glass.
You can do that.
Check them to make sure.
Yeah, so
Dump it
actually,
in without mixing it up. Just dump it right into the batter,
One at a time.
one at a time.
we
And I
have
do
to
for all
check
three.
for blood spots to make sure there's no blood spots. That's why you put it into the cup first. In other cooking shows, you'll see them put it directly in, but we actually check it in the glass cups to make sure that there's no blood spots. If there is, then we don't use those eggs. And that's a kosher thing.
Okay, last one. And put it in. Now,
3 eggs.
you can see the eggs are in there. It's fine if they break, by the way, because I'm going to break them now anyway.
Are you using extra large eggs, or like should we use an extra one if we're just using smaller eggs?
There's also a chance it'll.
Shh, can you guys stop, please? They can all hear you and I need to talk. Sorry. Thank you.
I think there was a question.
Sorry, did somebody ask a question?
Yeah, I was just asking about the size of the eggs.
I use large.
You use large? Okay.
Yeah, if you have medium, I don't think it makes a significant difference.
What if they have extra large?
I don't think that also makes a big difference. I use large size eggs, but it's fine. Okay, so now I use a fork. See, it looks good against the black. I use a fork to mix this up, and make sure that you do not overmix. You keep mixing, but make sure you can still see yellow. If you don't see yellow anymore, you've mixed too far. I know it's hard to say. You have to stop before that point, right? But you'll see when I mix, you'll see that, there we go. It's very easy to mix it together. You can even go fast, but don't use a blender because the blender will actually blend it together, which is not what you want. Rafi, can you do me a favor? Throw these out. Put that in the sink. Actually, not leave that there. Sorry. Throw those out.
Oh, yeah. What's that noise?
It's not my phone.
Mama, are you off audio? I don't know. Here, you can help with that.
Okay, so you still see some yellow at the sides here. I may have overmixed it a little bit.
There's a question.
Sorry, somebody, what's the question?
Why is it important to not blend the eggs?
So when you, to be honest, I don't know. I just know that the cheesecake does not come out well if you blend the eggs too much. That's all I know. I learned this actually from Disney.
Disney?
Yeah, from Disney.
Cool.
They say don't overmix. You want to make sure that there's some yellow. And then I'll bring this back so you can see what I'm doing next.
I think it'll give lightness into the cake. If you overmix the eggs, you won't get the lightness. Like it'll make it lighter in terms of texture. That's why you beat the eggs that way.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I think. My 2 cents worth.
Okay, so now I'm just taking the batter and I'm pouring it right into the crust that we made before. So I'm just trying to get where the crust is. There, you guys can see it, okay?
Yeah, 1 second. Is everybody up to Brad? Is everybody with Brad?
Yeah.
Everybody good? So we're
gonna
pouring the
pour-
batter into the cake, the cookie crust.
Cookie crust.
So I'm gonna do it facing you, not facing me. Now, if you mixed in your chocolate chips already, yours will look slightly different than mine. That's fine. If not, you can just mix in the chocolate chips right after we're done here, as I'm going to do. Or you can leave the chocolate chips out and make a plain cheesecake, which also works. It's fine. Okay.
Wow.
So I'm just going to wash my hands.
Chocolate chips.
Now, I don't know, can you zoom in on this? Right now you see it's really bulky and lumpy. So I like to smooth it out because I like it when it, however it is when it goes into the oven, it's going to come out very similar to that when it comes out. So I try to smooth it as much as possible. Want to make a design on it or something, go for it. You actually do.
Oh, cool.
Look, I'll put Dahlia's initial because it's for Dahlia's birthday, right? For Dahlia's birthday. Yeah, put a D in.
Ha. Now put the chocolate chip.
Okay, see, I even put a D in it.
So, actually, you can see it quite well. Yes, you can see it.
Thank you.
I'm very happy. Get my design set. Looking good.
So once that's done, just take the chocolate chips.
If you
haven't done them already, thank you, Rafi. And just sprinkle them on top.
I think you're gonna ruin the D with the chocolate.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm gonna lose the D. We have to recarve it. We'll see.
It's okay. Yeah, I think.
So by the way, thank you, Jen and and Frady for separating all this stuff. Certainly makes it a lot easier.
Can you do half the chocolate chips?
It really does make it easier. I wish someone could do that for me for everything, right?
So to be honest, I actually usually do it before I start the cheesecake,
Really?
with the exception of the vanilla. Everything else I have exactly what I need right in front
Oh,
of me.
wow, fancy.
And so when I do this on my own, it usually takes about 12 to 15 minutes to do an entire cheesecake preparation. No,
That's awesome. Are the chocolate chips gonna go inside, fall in, or is it gonna stay on the
no,
top?
they'll sit on top and they'll melt. And I'll show you actually when I put this in the oven. I'll show you one that I made earlier so you can see exactly what it looks like. Unfortunately, I had a slightly different size pan.
I started cooking like that too. I started pre-measuring everything. It's so much easier, right?
Yeah, because once it's in front of you,
Yeah, it's like,
then
yeah,
you just go, and you're much less likely to forget an ingredient.
true.
Smart. That's true. That's a good point.
But there still is a chance.
And then you kind of feel like you're at a cooking show and like you have your own little thing going.
Yeah, they
You
make
have
it look so
like
easy.
glass bowls also.
Yeah, they make it look so easy.
Yeah, exactly.
So the reality is, this, I think you guys should all see, we're actually done the prep for the cheesecake. That's all we have to do. It's really that easy. Now it's cooking, cooling, and refrigeration. So I'm gonna tell you about that because it takes 7 hours from this point on. So just so you know, you want to do it for 30 minutes in the oven at 350. I use a toaster oven. The toaster oven is right here.
Yeah.
Okay, I use a toaster oven. I find it works the best. 30 minutes in the oven. Then after it's done, hopefully you guys can see, I open the door and I leave it partially open like this. Can you see that?
Yeah, partially.
So there's a little bit of air can flow through. I turn off the oven and I leave it like that for 10 to 15 minutes.
It's a convection toaster, right?
Well, I just use the regular toaster. Like I use the oven part, not the toaster part. It is a convection, but I don't put it on convection.
Okay.
I just put it on oven, which is the same as my stove. I like the toaster better because the heat is instant and it's very consistent.
Okay.
So
So for 30 minutes on 350, you said?
right, so 30 minutes at 350, 10 minutes off and with the door open. Then I take it out and I put it down like on my stove or whatever in a cool place. I leave it there for an hour. And then I put it in the fridge for minimum 5 hours, preferably 6.
Covered?
I don't cover it. Yeah, you can cover it once the hour is done, that it's been cooling down. Before then, don't cover it because if you cover it at that point, it collects all the steam and it's not good. Once it's cooled down, it's very easy. Like there's no steam left because it's actually room temperature pretty much at that point. So you can just cover it. I actually usually, for whatever reason, my habit, and I don't have any justification for this, my habit is to cover it with tin foil and then put plastic wrap on top. But you don't have to.
What if we want to freeze it? Then we cook it and leave it in the fridge and then freeze it?
Yeah, exactly. So once you need the fridge to be able to set. It's like, think of Jell-O. If you put Jell-O directly in the freezer, it doesn't set properly. So the same thing with this. You need it in the fridge for that 5 to 6 hours in order to set, so it gets the right consistency and the right solidification. And then you can freeze it, no problem. You can eat it frozen. It's delicious. It's fun. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the oven right now so you guys can see.
Everybody hold up their cheesecakes and we'll take a photo. Laura, that is the cutest.
Here.
You have your hands full there.
I put mine in the oven.
Everybody, whoever has it, can you hold it up? We'll take a quick picture. You want to smile? One, two.
I can hold my bun.
Smile. Beautiful. Amazing. Everyone has to give me a piece. I'm just joking.
Good.
We cook it uncovered, Brad?
Uncovered, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad?
Now, I'm going to show you what one looked like. I made it about 4 hours ago, so it's not completely 100% finished setting. It's not focusing.
Nice.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Very
So that's
nice.
what it looks like. And you can see it's pretty much set. It's not moving around. But that's one that's done. Same,
Yeah.
it's the same cheesecake.
Oh, I guess I could show these.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Brad,
Yes.
if you wanted to do it like fruity, like a strawberry, for example, how would you do that?
Sorry, if I wanted to do, oh, sorry, what?
If you wanted to make it fruity, like with strawberry topping instead of chocolate chip.
So don't put the chocolate chip topping on, and instead of putting the chocolate chip topping, just I'll give you a recipe that I have for. Oh, look, that is here. Let's see. I'll give you a recipe I have to make a fruit topping. So you just pour it on top, because a plain cheesecake with the fruity covering is the best way to do it, in my opinion. Some people do put fruit directly on top. I just don't do that.
So it's a puree, like a sauce, not like
Basically,
strawberry
yeah.
slices. Okay.
Anybody have any specific questions that they'd like to ask Brad? Any other questions?
How many pieces do you eat in one sitting?
Only one. It's just a question of how big I cut it.
It's a good question. Any other questions?
No, but this is your recipe that you came up with, right?
Yeah.
Or-
I mean,
Cool.
the reality is it's an amalgamation of like four. Can you guys please be quiet? Sorry. It's an amalgamation of like 4 different recipes that I've seen over the years, and then when I finally added the Jello pudding into it, that's when it really became the recipe that is my go-to cheesecake.
Stop.
It's so nice, so easy. I love easy. Easy's great.
Right.
Easy's right up my alley.
Okay, it's awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It's
So that's
been-
it. It's actually that easy. You can see with the right instructions, it's a very, very simple thing. The only problem is now I have to wait an hour and a half before I can put it in the oven. Sorry, before I can put it in the fridge, and then it
Yeah.
can't be eaten until at least tomorrow, right? So that's the
Yes.
downside.
Aw.
It is.
but
It
it's
is.
good because it holds you back from eating it.
Oh, don't worry.
Right.
I'll have
So a little bit more time to just hold off a little. Ariella, how you doing over there? So impressed, doing it all on your own. So good. Okay, good. Anybody have any more questions that they'd like to ask?
Just, Brad, what's your favorite coffee? We're all coming tomorrow for a slice of cheesecake. We're gonna try yours first to see if ours turned out the same.
My favorite coffee, let's see, Pilon from Brazil.
All right. we'll get
Sometimes
right
you
on.
can get at Walmart if you look.
Ah,
I
We
can't-
knew we couldn't
so
eat
much.
we knew that we couldn't eat the cheesecake, so we made a bundt cake while we're waiting for the cheesecake to set.
Smart.
That's pretty smart. That's the other thing I have to say I really like about cheesecake, because I have to wait 7 hours, I know I'm not just gonna pig out on it tonight.
Yeah. I'm so looking
Yeah,
forward
so
to it. Thank you
next
so much.
time- Next time we'll get together in person. Can't
Yeah.
wait.
So these are at the show.
And we'll hug each other
Yes.
and we won't sanitize. No, I'm just joking. Can't wait to see you guys all. We can't wait to see you all in person. And until next time, please join us on Wednesday night. We're actually having an amazing speaker, Stacey Anbar, who is a Jew by choice. She became Jewish a few years ago, about 10 years ago. She has an amazing story. She's extremely inspiring. You're welcome to join and hear her story. And it's really apropos to Shavuot, because Shavuot is really about coming to the Torah, whichever way you can, wherever you're coming from, it doesn't really matter. And Stacey and Ruth, in the story of Shavuot, we read Ruth about Ruth, who came to Judaism on her own. And it's very apropos to hear a story on her journey. And I think that Stacey is so organized in her head that she really learned how to give over her little baby growth stuff. I don't know if that makes sense, but like just make it so practical for us to just take baby steps, no matter where you're coming from, And everybody's trying to move a little bit and have some meaning in their lives. And she's really, really great at just narrowing it down to the tiniest bit. So it's practical and easy to grasp. And I really recommend joining us. If you'd like to join us, please check out our website, thwshul.com. We'd love to have you all. And thank you all so much for joining us. Lots of love and
Thank you, everybody. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to email me or WhatsApp me.
I thought he was kidding, right? Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Brad. Thanks, Brady.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Freddie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Freddie.
Laura, that's so cute.
Multitasking.
How old is she? It's a girl, right? How old
A
is she?
girl. She's gonna be 3 months, God willing, on Sunday on Shavuot.
Wow, you're amazing. Oh my
Keeps
gosh.
me busy. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to participate and for joining in your Shul's event. We really loved it. We had a great time.
Our Shul, it's everybody's.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, have a great night, everybody. Enjoy.
Thank you. You too. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Good night. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Enjoy.